If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is July the 3rd, 2023, and today's topic is Lady Wisdom. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. Well, I guess I'll give y'all a little rundown of the weekend. Y'all know that I was hoping to celebrate my brother from another mother, and we did. I did celebrate him. We went to brunch on Saturday. After that, we ended up going to Andretti's and playing a few games and stuff like that. And to be honest, it's the first time in a long time that we've just gotten together and just had fun and not like work, because we were having a conversation about like anytime that we got together or anytime that we talk is usually somewhat work related. And so it was just good to have that time and celebrate him, his birthday. And, you know, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in a place that I was able to do that and spend that time and everything like that. So that's what Saturday looked like for me. And then Sunday, you know, was you know, work and whatnot. I did my two services, and I did get a chance to sit in at the third service, which gave me a little bit more wisdom and everything like that. So to God be glory again for this opportunity and everything that God is doing with me, for me, and through me in this season. So let's get into this conversation about Lady Wisdom. I would say my inspiration this morning came from a variety of things. But one thing in particular was this concept of wisdom being used in a feminine way, right? If you read the Bible, especially in Proverbs, it refers to wisdom as a lady, you know, which is inspiring to me, you know, with me being a lady and everything. That is inspiring in a few ways. And I guess ultimately I thought, right, that I was going to be going deeper about that idea and why that is and stuff like that, which there is information, right? So I did go a little bit deeper, and there are articles on gotquestions.org that answers the question, you know, why is wisdom described as a woman? And then I came across another one that was talking about like why is both wisdom and folly described as a woman. So y'all can go deeper about that if you so feel led to do. But for me this morning, basically as I was doing that, I was seeking that information, and some other questions started to stand out to me on gotquestions.org, and so I was reading those. And then I was going back and forth between being tired, you know, or feeling like maybe I just needed to clear my mind and let the Lord speak to me, right? And so I just kept resetting my alarm. Every time I got that feeling, I was like, okay, well, let me, you know, give the Lord, 5 more minutes or whatever the case is. And so I would have these moments of maybe to somebody or me explaining it the best way that I could explain it is say that it's kind of like moments of sleep. But I would say it was more so moments of like visions in a sleep state. I'll put it like that. And I think maybe majority of that was for me. So, hey, I looked up a few things, or quite a few things that kind of was centered around, again, wisdom and everything like that. And I was like, okay, Lord, well, you know, thank you for the confirmations and, you know, different things like that. But I don't know if all of that was for me to share with y'all. But I would say that the inspiration to share right now took me back to Lady Wisdom in general. And, here are the verses that were standing out to me that I received from openbible.info. All right. So one of the first things that stood out to me was Proverbs 8, 1 through 36. Am I going to read all of that? Nope. So y'all can go deeper and read that yourselves. These are the verses that stood out that I do feel it to share. Verse 1 says, "Do not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice." Um, Again, when y'all go deeper and read all of these, you're gonna again hear this reference to wisdom, just kind of like crying out in the streets and all these different type of things, trying to get everybody's attention or whatever case is, and not necessarily being received, and things like that. But y'all can go read all of that for yourselves. This is what 7 through 9 says. It says, "For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the works of my mouth one in righteousness, and there is nothing forward or perseverance or perverse, forward or perverse in them. They are all plain to him that understandeth." Y'all, I guess if y'all hear nothing else that I say this morning, I think the main thing I was receiving is that at the end of the day, we can get all the wisdom, right? We can hear all the wisdom, but if we don't apply it, if we don't receive it, if we choose to ignore it, then what good is it at the end of the day? Again, there was several different things that was coming to me and that I was looking up and whatnot this morning. And one of the things that stood out to me, I didn't write it down, but I'm reminded in this moment that, this question of what are you fighting for? At the end of the day, I tell y'all all the time, I feel like I had to fight to be here in this place that I'm in. I had to fight to find my voice. I had to fight to get to be where the Lord was showing me that he wanted me to be. And things of that nature. And there's things I had to give up, and there's wisdom, right, that I had to receive, and everything like that, directly from the Lord or through someone else, right? And so I guess ultimately at the end of the day, maybe we should ask ourselves these questions, what are you fighting for at the end of the day? Is the life that you want worth fighting for? Is doing the will of God worth fighting for you? Some people, the answer might be no, right? And I mean, listen, I say all the time, I have no clue where I would be if I didn't make the choices that I did and use the wisdom that was bestowed upon me and different things like that. Would I be up every morning trying to give daily inspiration and encourage and inspire the next person? I don't think so. Would I be in the situation, again, with my husband or with my son, or even living in the home that we're living in? All these different things played a part in choices and decisions and wisdom and whatnot, again, from years ago. And so, yeah, I mean, that's just something that was standing out to me this morning in the midst of my study. That at the end of the day, again, you can hear the wisdom, but if you don't apply it, then, hey, or if you ignore it or anything like that, then, I mean, whew. I mean, well, and then it seems that our hearts will still be hardened, There's something else I came across and studied this morning. I can't remember if it was the prayer meditation or if it was one of the articles that I read on the side. But basically, it was talking about our hearts, and it was talking about how we as humans, what come from us and on our own is ultimately evil things, and the Bible starts to talk about, obviously murder and all these different things, right? Sexual immorality and all, right? And I know we like to think that we are inherently good. Like, oh, everybody has some good. And that's true. But it also says without God, right? All of us are inherently evil. All of us have sinned and fallen short and things of that nature. So what can help us, right, get past that and get into doing some good or doing the will of God or whatever the case is? It seems to be this whole relationship. Like I said, the quote Jackie Hill Perry back in the day, what you do with this message of Jesus is the ultimate choice of all. Again, I might be butchering the quote, but yeah, it's like, are you going to choose to believe, and are you going to live according to that choice? Um, and even as I was praying about all of this morning, I just was like, well, Lord, I'll be honest and say that, hey, man, every now and then I have I don't know if it's the enemy talking to me, or if it's just something deep down in my heart that's curious or questioning, being like, at the end of the day, what if this isn't right? What the Bible say? Like, what if this is all just, I don't know, right? I don't even know how to explain or verbalize in this moment, right? But on the flip side, knowing how I feel again when I'm in praise and worship, knowing what my life looked like before and what it looks like now, knowing my testimony, knowing all the different things like that, and seeing God work in my life, right? It's very hard for me to deny Him, and then on top of that, again, knowing that as I surrendered, which is something that the pastor was talking about yesterday, as I continue to surrender every aspect of my life to the Lord, I find myself at peace, right? I find myself, like, honestly, I tell y'all all the time, but here it is. Like, a lot of the goals and things that I had originally are not even on my radar. It's something even beyond those things, and things like that. And so it's just something to think about at the end of the day. I'm not here trying to point no fingers or anything like that. I'm just sitting here sharing what I studied this morning, y'all. And I would say one thing that stood out to me in that last few verses that I just read is the part that says wickedness is an abomination. And it's obviously says to my lips, but that phrase, right? The word abomination, we don't like it, right? There's plenty of things that are abomination to the Lord, and we don't want to believe that that's what we do is a part of that. But again, when we look into the Word of God, we look into the Bible, what it has to say. I mean, there's plenty that we do that is abominations, right? And so at the end of the day, we have to make the decision and choose, like, which side are we going to be on? And I believe at the end of the day, the choice is always just good and evil. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. Anything else don't really matter. Are you going to be, good or evil? And the Word of God tells us that without God, we're all just evil. Again, our righteousness is filthy rags. So again, without Christ, y'all, like, I mean, what's the point at the end of the day? Like, and that's where a lot of people find ourselves. That's where we are, because then we don't see no point to life. We don't see no purpose and everything like that, which that was another thing that I feel like the Lord was revealing to me this morning, is that at the end of the day, His plan and purpose and everything, all of that matters, right? You and your choices matter. He created each and every one of us, and has a plan and purpose for each and every one of us. And again, that was reiterated this morning and actually yesterday during the sermon, that I received at church. So, I mean, hey, I don't know who's going to listen to the sound of my voice. I don't know if you're going to be encouraged and inspired by these things. But I hope that you are, right? And I hope that you decide to use wisdom and lean in and depend on the Lord and start to trust Him with every aspect of your life. Is that the easiest thing? No, it doesn't feel like the easiest thing all the time. I'm a living witness of that. I feel like I've shared that multiple times about my journey. And, again, there are times that I like I said, I didn't fully understand. Sometimes I still don't fully understand, like, what the Lord is doing with me, for me, and through me. Right? But I know I very much prefer the way my life is now versus the way it was before. And I feel like it has very little to do with me. The only thing was, making certain choices. And that's really it. That's really it. But hey, got a little bit more to share, y'all. Not too much, just a little bit. Proverbs 1:1-33 stood out to me. I'm not going to read all of that either. But here are the verses that OpenBible.info pulled out, and then you guys obviously can go deeper if you so feel led to do. I just want to start with the part that says, to know wisdom and instruction, to understand words of insight, to receive instruction in wise dealings in righteousness, justice, and equity, to give prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the youth. Let the wise hear and increase in learning, and the one who understands obtains guidance. Again, let this be us today, y'all. Again, y'all can hear the pastor talk. Y'all can listen to me. Y'all can listen to all kinds of wisdom, right? You can read it in the Bible. You can do all of that. But if you don't apply it to your life, and if you don't learn and grow and things like that, then I mean, I don't even know what to tell you the alternative is. I mean, I would hate to call you a fool and things of that nature, but that's what the Bible calls it, right? And things like that. And I found it interesting as well because y'all know we talked about the word prude and whatnot a few days ago, and then also the word simple stood out to me as well, as I was reading that part. But yeah, it's just a few things, y'all, today. It's figuring out, if you truly feel and believe that, the life that God promised you, or the things that God wants to do with you, for you, and through you, is that enough to fight for, is that enough to lay down your own idea and to receive? I say it is, because I do feel like I'm on the other side now. Is everything, I feel like there's still growth, right? There's always going to be learning and growth and wisdom to gain, right? Every day, until we leave this earth, right? So no one has made it, right, to the highest echelon of wisdom, right? Because at the end of the day, again, God's wisdom is on a whole nother level than ours. It's probably not equal to ours at all. So yeah, if you truly want to be wise, right? If you truly want the good and the fruits of life, or whatever the case is, then you would take heed to wisdom's cry, right? You wouldn't just, again, ignore or pass it up. You would hear and seek more. I feel like that's ultimately the juice this morning, y'all. I'm going to wrap it up with this verse right here. It's Proverbs 1:7. It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Y'all can go deeper. We all can go deeper about this. I didn't add too much in the go deeper section because those Proverbs verses, they already have a lot. But if you want to go deeper and read some of the other articles and things that I read, you guys can go to gotquestions.org. And like I said, there's plenty. I just plugged in Lady Wisdom. And even though, I did get the I did find what I was seeking in regards to the articles that are written about the female, or why wisdom is called like a woman and things like that. But again, the other questions that was asked about wisdom, they stood out to me a little bit more, and I started to more so focus on that and everything. So if you feel deep, you want to go deeper, and you feel led to go do that, again, it's just gotquestions.org. You guys can just plug in Lady Wisdom. And like I said, that's ultimately the juice this morning. Yes, ultimately the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Psalm 77:11-12. It says, I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of all thy works, and talk of thy doings. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Are you engaged, married, separated? Friends, don't give up. Let no man separate what God has joined together, not even you. Transform your marriage and your idea of marriage today with Marriage Reignited. This program is a insightful look into marriage and what are the true needs of his and her. You guys can get a discount when you use Miracle Video or Miracle Combo. Miracle Video will get you $5 off of the video, and Miracle Combo will give you $10 off of the video and book. Check out marriagereignited.com for more information. That's MarriageReignited.com. And again, that's Miracle Video, MiracleVideo, or Miracle Combo, MiracleCombo.